You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Yes.
What happened? Who
yes.
are you?
Yes.
Are you doing okay?
Yes. Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuels.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For you, for y'all.
For those folks out there. So you doing all right, man? You seem a
little...
No, man.
I don't remember if this is the first time. I feel like it's not the first time. But if it's not the first time, it's been a long time.
First time what?
Donating blood.
Oh, yeah.
I donated some blood today. It was a blood drive, and I donated some blood, and I don't know if it's a thing or what, man. I mean, but I feel like since then, like this afternoon, that was at 11 o'clock this morning. Of course, now it's about 4:30. But I feel like since then, I've just been dragging, man. Is that a thing?
That's a thing. Yeah, you need that blood, man. That's why they take a pint, and you feel like you just need 24 hours of sleep. Yeah. You know, you need a big old steak.
I kind of feel like I need a nap, man. I kind of feel like
You look like you need a nap. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be rude.
Appreciate that. You know, I got a face for radio.
Well,
but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know if that was a thing. Like they, you know, they had like the chips and all that kind of junk out there. And
you didn't get no orange juice?
No, they didn't have orange
slices.
They didn't have orange slices. They had
like Little League.
They had like Ruffles chips and the little trail mix, and they had like some cookies and that kind of junk, but they didn't have orange juice.
Really? That's weird. I've always heard like drink orange juice after you give blood, because that helps to boost your glucose levels and make you feel a little bit better. But yeah, no, I think you'd be dragging. Well,
you know, I mean, I normally don't have a problem with glucose levels, man. You know, you could cut me open and I bleed syrup. I mean, I normally don't have a problem in that area.
No sugar addiction.
No, not so much, man. Although, you know, when she jammed that thing in there, man, I was like, man, are you a samurai or what? I mean, I felt like she put that thing halfway through my arm, man. I was like, I mean, I didn't have blood drawn and all that. Homegirl, she went at it, dude. She got way down in that bad boy.
Well, did she get it the first time?
Yeah, she got it the first time.
See, that's she knows what's up.
She got it the first time.
You don't want to have those amateurs that are like stabbing you 3-4 times.
I guess, man. I don't know, but she went in there, man. She went all the way. Then they had to like prick your finger. I don't know what. I think that was checking your platelets or red blood cells or something like that before you go in there or something. And that was beforehand, man. So yeah, I got stuck a couple times, man. I'm traumatized today, man. I'm feeling a little vulnerable.
Now you know how it feels.
I'm feeling a little vulnerable.
That's what she said. Now you know how it feels.
I know. I'm feeling a little, you know. Yeah. I'm definitely drained. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely drained.
Well,
so hopefully time will take it. Hopefully, you know. But I do recommend, man, donate blood. Yeah. You know, folks out there, man. If you can, why not? You know, I mean, why not? It's a good thing. You know, I mean, it's a good thing to do. We got to do good stuff, man. You
gotta help folks out. I mean, you know, and if you go to some of these places, you know, if you need a little extra cash, they'll take your platelets and your stuff and give you a little.
You can get paid to do that?
Yeah, you can get paid to do it.
I didn't know that.
There's people that do the plasma and they get paid for it. You know, they'll give you, I don't know, $20-$30, something like that.
For real?
Still,
how much? $20-$30?
I think so. Maybe it's like $50. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but
I don't know, man. I might not be. I don't know.
Oh, now all of a sudden you can be coming in every Monday.
You know, now I might be up in this bad boy frequently. It only took like a half hour.
Yeah.
My appointment's at 11. I was back in my car about 11.
Yeah, I think when you do the plasma too, you don't feel as drained because they put the red blood cells back in. They're just taking out the plasma. Yeah. So you might be
make me some money, man.
Yeah, there you go. Get you a little honeymoon fund going.
And then the girl was like, I know we're drinking this whole show talking about blood draws, but the girl was like, don't skip a meal today. I was like, man, look at me. Do I look like I skip a meal? Like, when's the last time somebody told me don't skip a meal? I mean,
look me in the eye and tell you that again.
On, man. You know, look at me, man. You know, you ain't blind. You talking about don't skip a meal. I'm like, when's the last time I skipped a meal?
Right. Well, that's definitely a Western American thing.
So then I went to Culver's afterwards.
Oh.
And I got me one of them the cod fillet combo meal.
Check you out.
You know, you had to wait like 20 minutes and all that.
Let's see. I was gonna see if you got the burger, but then we went to Zigzag yesterday. So after golf, so I'm guessing Yeah, we don't even get sponsored by that, but if y'all had a zigzag burger, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that's good.
Woo!
But you got to slow down when you eat that bad.
Thank you.
That's kind of like my golf game. It got better when I slowed down.
Got to slow down. Got to chew.
You got to slow down, man.
Got to chew and swallow.
Man, I tell you what, speaking of chewing and swallowing, which has nothing to do with the topic of the show today.
Well, I mean, maybe in reference.
Well,
roundabout way.
If you creepy.
Why?
If you're creepy. I'm just saying.
Why you gotta call me creepy?
I ain't calling you creepy. I'm calling people like you creepy.
Okay, fine. Same thing.
You ain't creepy. You creepy-ish.
All right, I'm creepy adjacent. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Creepy-ish.
Okay.
You're in the creepy category.
I'm still offended. I'm still offended for all those like me.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man. I've had this. I've had a buddy of mine. He and I were talking about not too long ago having a girl kind of break up with him, girl, woman, whatever, in the relationship with him, and you and I got to talking about the whole idea of somebody ending a relationship and then they want to come back after a while, man, and they want to rekindle things, they want to start things over, and all those kinds of things, man. I don't know how I feel about that whole thing.
Especially, and I think one of the reasons I'm so passionate about this now is because I would take them back in a heartbeat back in the day.
Yeah.
I think that was part of that nice guy, I want to be like kind of thing, and didn't have any kind of backbone or standards or any kind of self-respect. So I would just be like, yeah, girl, come on back. You stepped all over my heart and ran me, did me dirty and all that stuff. But yeah, come on back. And now I'm like, no. And I think I might even gone like way far the other direction now, where I'm like a little too cut off. Like I'm just like, oh no, you disrespected me, or I feel disrespected, or you didn't, see my value, or whatever the story is like, once you say, okay, I'm out, I'm like, all right, be out. Don't come back.
In the hood, they got 2 words for that. Bye, Felicia.
Yes.
Bye, girl. Bye. 3 words for that thing, man. I'm kind of to the point like you, man. There was a time when I was looking for validation from the female persuasion, and if anybody wanted me, then it was on. And I kind of outgrown that and kind of got to the point where, yeah, like you said, man, I ain't nobody got time for that, man. I'm not a tire. You don't retread me.
No, I just blow it out. No more retards. But no, and of course, we always say we do episodes either 2 men or 4 men. This one's definitely 2 men. Gentlemen, we got to up our standards, especially in this day and age, in this kind of feminist-centric culture where it's like guys can do no good and women can do no wrong. It's like, gentlemen, you got to kind of take the onus on yourself. And I don't care how lonely, how long it's been. I mean, don't just let them treat you any kind of way. And in having standards, and of course, granted, a lot of times when you haven't been out with a girl for a while, you may accept less than, or you just may accept whatever. So in that case, that's your fault. Don't be surprised at what you get. But if they treat you a certain way or treat you disrespectfully or don't act like you have value and then they leave, don't accept them back. You got to have some standards and go, I'm worth more than that. So, and granted, we all have grown up with the romantic comedies, and there's always that scene where like they come together, then they come apart, then they realize how they love each other, then they come back. But that's the movies, man. This is real life. You need to be serious from the jump.
I believe, and I've said this, matter of fact, I've even said this on other shows. Shout out Corner Cafe Radio.
Yeah.
Shout out Rachel.
Haven't seen her in a minute. What they've been doing? They're busy.
We love you. Corner Cafe. Check it out, cornercaferadio.com. But one of our sister shows here at Crawford. Shout out Crawford Broadcasting. We just shouting out everybody.
Shout out everybody.
I'm kind of all over the place, man. Y'all just got to
man.
deal with it, dude. I'm just anyhow. One of the things I was saying on there was I believe that these days women tend to, single women in particular, well, single women in general tend to overvalue themselves on the dating market, and single men seem to undervalue themselves on the dating market. And I think I think it's detrimental on both sides. I think when you have an inflated value, it's easy to think that you deserve better than you kind of really do, and that's when you say, I don't need to bring nothing to the table. I am the table. Right. And so that's what happens on that side. I think on the other side, when you undervalue yourself, you set the bar too low. And when you set the bar too low, then the world meets you there, and people's expectations meet you there. Your expectation of other people, you meet there, and you tend to settle. You tend to settle for people's minimum, and not expect someone's, maximum, what their potential is, what they have to offer. And so, to the point, I think when guys in particular, when we have such a low bar for ourselves, and we just think that because a woman wants to be with us, or because she's cute, or because she's hot, or because she's got, a curve here, a curve there, a bra size here, hair color there, a flat forehead. I don't know how I feel about, windshield foreheads, but, just because she has all the aesthetics, that wow, I just need to settle for whatever she has to offer. And I've been in a situation where, man, I was with somebody where I just woke up every day just thankful that I can be with a pretty girl like that, kind of thing, I mean, and it just sucked, man. And so, when we have such a low bar for ourselves as men, we tend to settle. When we tend to settle, we tend up, settling into Simpville. And we all become, to some degree, Homer Simpson.
Like that. Yeah. Homer Simpson. Yeah, I just actually reposted a thing on Instagram, and it was a girl who realized, and that's why I love posting when the females realize, because I think it has more impact, because ladies don't want to listen to us anyway. But she was saying how when they're growing up, girls always get, you can do anything, and the world's is your oyster. Everything, is going to work out for you. Everything's going to be gravy. You're a princess, and the world owes you everything. But then on the flip side, guys get, the world don't owe you nothing. You got to work for everything. Nobody's going to be there for you. Don't ask for help. Suck it up. Like, be a warrior, be a soldier, do all those things, but don't expect the world to give you anything. You got to struggle and fight for everything. And then when you look at something like this topic, where women tend to overvalue themselves and then men tend to undervalue themselves, you look at something like that, where that's how we've been taught all our lives. Like, okay, ladies can do no wrong and everything's going to come to them. And then they start having those experiences. And then guys just have the opposite experience of, well, I'm not good enough. Nothing's going to work out for me. I can't ask for help. I got to do it all on my own. So then you wonder why are we accepting less than what we deserve? Because a lot of us don't feel like we have something of value, because we've been told our lives we're not anything. And we have to work so hard and fight so hard. And, there's some of those guys out there, the 1%ers who, took that bull by the horns and ran with it. But the rest of us are kind of going, all right, I'm fighting to survive here. Why am I struggling so much? Well, it's because we don't have a base self-assessment of, I'm more valuable than I am. Most of us kind of believe the BS and believe what we've been taught, that, I'm not as good as I should be, or I'm not good enough. And then we get these low standards and low expectations, and then we wonder why we have such low results.
Yeah. Speaking of results,
you want a result?
Let's result in a break.
All right.
Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City. We'll be right back. Boom.
How we doing?
We're doing fantastic, man.
How you feeling?
Freaking
need some orange juice?
Day ever. I need some orange juice. I need some something. I should have had one of them. Propel.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Get you some water.
I should have had one of them. I should have threw one of them right in this water bottle.
See, I got some in the truck, but I don't have you none now.
Yeah, I don't have me at all right now. That is absolute zero value to my life.
Yeah, you're very welcome. See, just like ladies, I got something, but you can't have it.
Which is zero value to my life. I got something, but it's zero value to your life right now.
There's a potential possibility. You can't have it.
I got potential. I got a whole lot of potential. Yeah, whole lot of potential.
Let's potentially
that's like me. That's like me on my golf before I swing. It's a whole lot of potential.
Infinite potential.
But results may vary.
And we're back.
We're back.
Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC.
Check that out, man.
Look at you.
Check that out, man.
Looking like a crackhead.
I know, man. I got a big old scar right in my vein or whatever it is, man. Homegirl just jabbed me up.
She got you.
You know what I'm saying?
She's a vampiress.
She showed what she did. She took a pint, man. She took a pint of, took a pint of my blood, man. It was dark too today. It was dark. Is blood normally that dark?
Well, I mean, if you have high red blood cell count, the higher your red cell count, the darker your blood, and there's lots of iron and stuff. So,
well, I guess, and there's also in the veins, or these capillary veins. That's the last thing.
Yeah.
So,
there's a bunch of doctors and nurses right now just cringing, like these fools don't. They talking about.
They don't know nothing. They should talk about what they know. It's a little something about.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about men's not valuing themselves, not having high standards, and not accepting returns, gentlemen. No return policy.
No, and a lot of that comes down with knowing your value, knowing your worth as a man. First of all, there's a lot less of us in the market. And when I say the market, I'm talking about the dating singles market, if that's your thing. There's a lot less of us than them, especially good men, right? I mean, especially good men. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Guys with good hearts, good intentions, with good, we all got past, I mean, a knight with shining armor has never been in a battle, right? And so a lot of us are knights and we got, dents and dings and a little bit of rust on our armor and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, we got a whole lot of value and a whole lot of worth that the world is definitely not going to remind us of. That being said, we also need to be conscious about making sure that we maximize our value, whatever our value is, maximize our value physically, emotionally, do all the healing work, maximize our value, even monetarily, to the point where, you don't need a woman to complete. You don't need a woman to help pay your bills. You don't need a woman to complete you like Jerry Maguire. I mean, and when we get to that point, then we're to some degree self-sufficient and able to thrive, even to the point where you don't need a woman to necessarily come home to. Like, you're comfortable being by yourself to a degree, or being with yourself. A lot of people can be by themselves, but they can't be with themselves. And so you're comfortable with that. You got a routine. You got some things you're working on, even if that's yourself in the gym, or you with other guys in men's groups, and get together with guys regularly, and whether it's golf or whatever it is, horseshoes, I don't know, whatever your jam is,
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
But either way, we gotta make sure we maximizing our value so that we're not some kind of chump, so that when we do show up and when they do show up, we're not impressed by them, because when you're impressed by them, it might be somewhat flattering to their girl, but it'll never stick with their woman. That they'll always get tired of a man that's impressed by them. And so we got to get to the point where we make sure our bar is as high as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, that whole pedestalization, I mean, it sounds good, and that's what we hear that they want. But then when we do that, they lose respect. And it's kind of the same thing where you want them in a way to idolize you for what you're producing. And it seems counterintuitive. It really does, gentlemen, because when you work on yourself and you become the best version of yourself you can be, you're going to attract the woman who matches that and who wants you that way. But when we don't do those things and we are out there looking for scraps and keeping our bar low and our standards low and just taking whatever we can get, then you shouldn't be surprised at the results you're getting. Results often harsh, always fair. You get, who you are, basically. We just did that episode. You get who you are. So if your results are not what you want, start looking at what you're doing with your life and your expectations. Are you trying to be the best person you can be? And to Kurt's point, can you be by yourself? I see so many guys who just bounce. I mean, guys and girls too, but a lot of guys are just bouncing from whatever girl they can get or whatever they meet without actually taking time to find out who they are, what's going to be the best for them, what do they actually want. So many guys are just like, is she a woman? Is she breathing? I'll take it. And then you wonder why you get these results where, oh, well, she didn't fit, or she was this way, or we didn't get along or whatever. Well, did you take the time to, number one, figure out who you are, what you need, and what's going to be the best match for you, and then go take the time to find that versus I'll just take what I can get. You go to any discount store, you can clear the shelves, but I mean, it's going to last a while. It's going to be good for you. It's going to be something that's going to make you happy in the long run. Maybe not.
Yeah. If you're single, I'm saying that I'm not saying the woman you get with should not be impressive. She should be impressive, but the things that are impressive should not be on the surface. The something that she can pay for, a needle in the face or a hair color or, whatever. I mean, it's what she's wearing or all those kinds of things. We need to demonetize female sexuality to where it's not something that you can pay for. You got to able to bring something beneath the surface. You got to, humility should have a deep intrinsic value in the feminine world, in the feminine space. I mean, especially to men, right? I mean, we got to begin to look for things that have lasting value. Female sexuality doesn't have lasting value. I mean, beauty fades, generally speaking, hormones go up and down over time. The couple that is that has been married 50 years is probably not having as much sex as they did week one, right? It just doesn't work that way. So you got to have some stuff with some legs, and we need to make sure that she's impressive, but she's impressive for all the right reasons, not just for the things that she can offer you on the surface, not for sure how she looks on your timeline or on your arm, or, you know, not how she presents or what name she brings. You need to be the provider, the priest, the protector, the purpose in the household. You need to be all of those things. And she needs to have some level of admiration and respect for you for all those things that you are. And so that's why we're passionate about, you know, raising the bar for men, raising the bar for masculinity, raising the bar for who we are as a species, especially in this culture where we're not looking for the low-hanging fruit, because the sweetest fruit is at the top of the tree.
Yes, sir. So that is the whole point of this one, is not to be like, don't take your ex back, this and that, which, I mean, basically it is. It's just put it boundary. If she's your ex, probably there's a reason, so maybe not go there again. But the idea is not to have to even play with that idea anymore and go, these are my standards. I want to be the best man I can be, and I want a woman who matches with that, who can be my peace, who can be my support, who can be the one who is on board, and we're a team together. And I think, you know, to the ladies that are watching this, that's the biggest challenge we have nowadays, is that we've lost the team mentality. You know, to that point of before that Instagram post that I just reposted, ladies, you've been told all your life that you're the princess, the world's your oyster, everything's coming your way, and that, you know, it's all good. You know, the world owes you everything. But when you get into a relationship, that doesn't hold water. That's when you get into these one-sided relationships where you think, oh, well, he's got to do everything. I don't have to do anything. I am the table. I don't have to bring anything with me. Well, when you're young and pretty, that might fly. But if you're talking long-term sustainable relationship, that's when you get past the beauty, you get past all the surface stuff, and you get into the heart of who you are and who that man is and how you guys mesh and team up together. And for most of us guys, we've probably found women that we found amazingly attractive. And then after that wore off, we're like, oh, her personality may not be what I want to be with the rest of my life. And it can be a shock when you're like, wow, I thought she was everything. Well, it's because you stayed on the surface.
And everybody is somebody's ex, right? And when you see, you know, again, speaking to men, when you see that phenomenally amazing woman and she's so gorgeous and she's fine and she's this and she's that, and blah, 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 she's somebody's ex. And so somebody said, bye, Felicia, to that.
I can't believe he left you.
Yeah, somebody was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, right? And so, you know, ain't nobody got, you know, feet that don't smell, right? I mean, that just don't happen, right? And so we need to make sure that we keep those realistic expectations, and to the point of, you know, a relationship ending. Absolutely. I'm not talking about in a marriage setting right now. I mean, I firmly believe, and I've said this to so many people, you spend every dollar you have and every minute you have trying to save your marriage. I mean, because ending your marriage is going to cost you every dollar you have and every minute you have. It is not good out in these streets to be single, especially if you're grown up 30s, 40s, 50s, above, all that kind of stuff. Like, it is, you know, I don't care how many profiles there are on social media, on dating sites. You ask somebody on those dating sites what that experience is like, and it is miserable for most people, right? I mean, there are success stories, but for the most part, that journey is wrought with potholes and landmines, right? And so if you marry, do whatever you can. Like I said, you go absolutely broke and bankrupt trying to save your marriage. Outside of that, if you're out here in these streets, if you're out here in the dating scene and you got somebody that doesn't see you for the value, for the protector, provider, the priest, the purpose that you are in a relationship, if she doesn't see you for that, and she doesn't decide like, wait, I want in on that, I want to get inside that, I want that to be my space, then, you know, then she won't respect you. And at some point in the future, man, she will see you as expendable, and she'll see you as extra, as opposed to something that is necessary for her life.
Yeah, and that's why we keep preaching, raise your standards, know your worth, find your purpose, find your why, and go full bore in that direction. And then, you know, don't let anybody curtail you. Don't let anybody set any roadblocks. Don't let anybody slow you down. Because as you're going up that mountain, as you're creating your purpose and your path and getting to that goal of who you are and being the best version of who you are, that's actually going to attract the one that's the best match for you. That's probably going to attract the one that's going to have similar goals and want to create something and be a team together. And those are the ladies that you want to create something with, generate a relationship with, generate a family, and have, this come together kind of like glue kind of thing. You don't want to just accept whoever comes along. And that's one of the things I've noticed is that the more on your path you are, gentlemen, the more on purpose you are, the more attention you're going to get and the more selective you have to be. Because it happens when you maybe haven't had a lot of attention and then you start deciding to work on yourself, become better. You go to the gym, you start hanging out with higher value men and start improving yourself. You're going to get more attention. And if you're not staying true to your goal and your purpose, that attention may pull you off. It may pull you off your path and you may get completely derailed because this cute girl who looks the way you think you want her to look and has all the features that you want will take your attention away and pull your energy away, because a lot of times they see you as potential. You have potential. You got energy, you got kinetic energy, you're moving in a direction, and they want some of that because it looks attractive. It looks good. But if you allow them to derail you, and that's the thing, is you want a woman who wants to come alongside you, not take you off your path. A woman who will support you and be your peace and be your cheerleader along the path. Not somebody who's going to say, oh, you look like you're doing something. Come over here and give me what you got. Oh, you got some stuff. Let me have your stuff. And they're everywhere, gentlemen. They are everywhere.
Dude, I mean, I'm going to get real with you on exactly what you just got finished talking about. But I'm going to do it right after this break.
Are we taking a break? We better take a break.
We're going to take an early break.
Everybody take a deep breath.
This story is longer than 20 seconds. So we'll be right back. Men of Masculinity, KLDC 1220. Perfect, exact. I mean,
you got a good example.
Exact example. And I'm gonna put it out there too.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Let's do it.
I'm telling you,
like Tone Oak said, let's do it.
Do it. I should have worn my looks. What is these? I'm gonna wear looks.
Do it.
You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go.
Yes, we are back.
Yeah.
We loking up in here.
Yeah, we talking about some loke. We gonna come in here one day wearing our lokes.
Let's do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Do that wild thing.
No, yeah, we do the wild. We need to have a topic talking about that wild thing.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about. Maybe we'll have a topic. Maybe we'll have a show about sex, and it'll be a wild thing.
There it is. Wild thing episode.
We'll wear our lokes. We should probably have like a therapist in here, though. Somebody to keep us grounded.
We probably should. Probably should have a professional
in here. Easily get off way off into the weeds. So before we take a break, man.
What was that story?
The example that you told that you described, man. I happened to me. I mean that was one of my in this later phase in life, one of my more significant in terms of committed relationships kind of thing. I was speaking at a conference in front of 1,000 people, my sword, and I was that guy, right? I was Superman. I was not Clark Kent that day. I was straight up Superman. I mean, one of the main speakers at this conference. And like I said, I mean, whole grip of people out there, right? Afterwards, I had a table out in the hallway, had a long line at the table, man. I mean, folks just wanted to come by and, shake hands or say whatever, buy a book, get a book signed, all those kinds of things. And out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody kind of standing over, just, again, just kind of off in the distance a little bit. And it was during a break during the conference, and then the break had ended and people were still like in line. They hadn't even gone back in yet, and so they're still in line. And so line went through, and then eventually the line was gone. And the person that was standing over in the corner came over, and she had been waiting this whole time, right? Just to just basically for the whole line to go away. And then afterwards, she wanted to strike up a conversation, blah, blah, blah. And I was the man and this and that. And, and this is, somebody, I was fairly impressed on the surface.
Fairly.
And on the surface. And, and then, we exchanged information and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I'm in the back of my mind. I'm like,
okay.
All right. And again, I was in Superman mode, right? Just the day, right? And so, long story a little bit shorter, we ended up kind of becoming a thing. And then I think, and maybe in her mind, I don't know, maybe in her mind, she, she saw me as something that, again, just like you just described, and I was freaking Superman, right? I mean, and maybe eventually, over time, when she saw that Superman is also Clark Kent, and and that there's a real person behind this whole thing. And oh, by the way, I was definitely not in a position to foot the bill for the lifestyle that she lived, right? I mean, it was just, I wasn't that guy. Like, you come this way, if this becomes permanent, where you live is probably not going to be the same, right? I mean, and so, again, long story, a little bit shorter. Basically, after however long it was, she ended up, just kind of walking away from the whole deal, just kind of out of the blue, and that was one of the bridge crossing events in my life in terms of I pushed all chips in, man, and then it turns out that, man, there was some some drama afterwards, way afterwards, that I found out, and stuff I didn't even know, stuff that wasn't true, and all this other kind of stuff, and but just like you just described, man, somebody can see you, a woman can see you in that, in that mode, but if she's not in it for you or in it for the us, if it's, if it's not we, if it's me, then, if she's trying to just get on board your thing, she can absolutely derail. I'm not saying this person derailed everything, but I'm just saying that can be dead weight. That can be a drag. In my mind, I'm picturing a rocket going up into space, and I'm, as the rocket goes up into space, as it goes through each stage, it drops the parts that it doesn't need, right? It drops the solid rocket boosters. It drops this phase and that phase. And then eventually the part that goes into orbit is just the main part where all the life is, but as you go up into your thing, man, you got to be willing to drop away all that kind of stuff. And the things that aren't part of your rocket, the life sustaining part of your rocket, is all got to go away, man. And you got to make sure that as a man, you're not connecting up with a woman that just sees you as almost like a way out or a way up or whatever, because you got to go into orbit, and you can't always take everybody with you that want to go.
Yeah, the ladies are waiting at the finish line, gentlemen, and that's why we say you've got to have the standards. You got to know your worth, because when you know your worth, then it's much easier to set boundaries, and you'll find out real quickly, because when you have healthy boundaries, that can act like a force field. They just bounce off of that, like, oh, he's got boundaries. Oh, he's not just going to do what I want him to do. He's not just going to say yes to everything. And that's really helpful, especially when you are starting to build, like Kurt was saying, when you're starting to hit that rocket ship and you're starting to follow your path and your purpose, you're going to get a lot more attention. And for all the ladies out there who like the guys who are doing that, they are real people. Like, I don't know how many times, and Kurt can speak to this as well, we'll be sitting in an audience before we talk. Nobody cares nothing about who we are. We're just some random face in the crowd. As soon as you get up on stage, you do your thing. They see you have some talent, you have a message. Then all of a sudden, you're Superman, you're Santa Claus, you're whatever. And they're like, oh, I need some of that shine. I need some of that fire. And it completely changes. And it can be very shocking. And so it's something, that's why we say, have your boundaries, your boundaries and your values. I think I combine that word. I said,
sure.
Values.
I went to public school, man.
I don't know. Anyway, but you want to have your boundaries and values and know who you are, so that you can more readily judge who is a match for you. Because as you light that rocket, as you start, getting some fire and some smoke, and you start getting some energy going, it's going to attract attention. And as you attract more attention, you got to be much more selective about who you allow in your inner circle, because, like Kurt's point, they can either be rocket fuel or they can be the parachute slowing you down. And you want somebody who's going to be right there with you, supporting you, because, like any of us know, no matter what stage in life you're on, no matter what level in life you're on, you're still a human being. You're still going to go through it. And you want somebody who is on your team, who's supporting you, who has a similar vision, whether it's a vision of family or a vision of creating a business or a vision of changing the world in some way. If you have the same vision, then you have that glue to help you come together. But gentlemen, you got to make sure you are vetting, and we keep talking about it, slow down, know who you are first, go in the mirror, know who you are, look at your past, learn from your past, and then take your time, vet that person. Because, if it's going to be a lifelong relationship, why are you in such a hurry? Why? Slow it down. Like Kurt was saying, slow your golf game down, slow that swing down. You'll hit much better shots.
Man, I just, I just can't get this picture out of my head of the rocket or the space shuttle going up into orbit, right? And ultimately, I remember being in middle school, man, and we all watched that Challenger blow up. And when I watched that Challenger blow up, it was the rocket booster that actually blew up the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the thing on the outside, the thing on the surface, the thing that was extra, the thing that was not part of the actual spacecraft itself that blew up the whole thing, man. And so we got to make sure as men that we have all of our poop in a group. We got to have all of our ducks in a row so that we can say no, so that we can have boundaries, so that we can have standards, and that we hold the relationship to standards, to boundaries, to sometimes no being the best yes that there could be in a relationship. And we, as the man, have to be that. You can't be that if you're just overwhelmed with being impressed by the woman that you're with, and that you just can't believe that somebody could be with you, kind of thing. And you know, you go through these horrible experiences and you go through these tough experiences. I'm thankful for that tough experience that I had, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that. And I wouldn't have the relationship that I have today if it wasn't for that. One of the things I learned through that, though, is to not lock in on the surface stuff, and not locking in on the surface stuff and being more concerned with the beneath the surface stuff. I end up with the beautiful woman that, you know, that has a great heart and is about us. And it's like, hey, what can I do for us? How can I serve us? But we as men, we got to make sure that we set that bar. And if somebody's willing to walk away from who you are, then she's telling you she don't respect you, and she's telling you you're not the one for her, and she's telling you that you know that you can stick if you're a simp. And so you got to be willing to just, you know, peace out on that whole thing, man, and get with the one that wants you.
Yeah. And having some self-respect. I mean, and that's something I think a lot of us guys lack just naturally because of how we're raised, because we're just told that, you know, you're not anything until you create something. You're judged by your production and what you bring to the world. And sometimes if we're just a normal dude, you're like, oh, I don't have $1 million. I don't got a jet. I don't got a boat. So maybe I'm not enough. No, there's so much more to who you are. There's so much more that you can bring. I mean, even if you're just a solid, salt of the earth dude that is the foundation of your family, that's good enough. You know, I mean, you're building a family, you're creating the future, but know your worth. And so many of us guys, I mean, I don't think we should necessarily take on the attributes, a lot of the feminist narrative and you know, I am the table stuff, but we should adopt some of that mindset. Like, you know, we are more than we think we are. We have more value than we think we are. We definitely have more value than we're being told we have. I mean, there's a definite war on masculinity, especially healthy masculinity nowadays, a war on family, and is trying to tear us apart. And so what you gentlemen want to do is be the best version of you can be, and then find the woman who appreciates that and wants to be a part of that and a bonus to that. And, you know, subsequently helping to build a bigger, brighter thing together versus what you going to do for me lately. I mean, you're not Janet Jackson. This ain't the 80s. Like, we need to have a higher standard for ourselves. And it's even one of the things that Tony Robbins says, you know, it's like our life is based on the questions we ask. Are you asking better questions? And to Kirk's point, if you're not learning from your past and learning from your past relationships and learning from the things that we have done and the mistakes we've made and the trials and tribulations we've gone through, then you're not asking better questions. You got to look at your past. I mean, you got to sometimes have that sit down, come to Jesus meeting with yourself, be like, look, this ain't going the way we want it to go. This isn't the goals. These goals aren't what we really want. This is not, I'm not being who I really want to be. Why not? And start asking better questions and coming up with those answers, because our brains hate an unanswered question. You ask a question, it's going to come up with an answer, and then keep asking questions, find better questions to become the best version of yourself you can be.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of bad guys out here. I mean, there's guys trafficking kids, there's guys buying trafficked kids, there's guys that are out here just extorting from people, harming people, hurting people. There are a whole lot of jerks out here in the world. If you're not one of those, you're already in the top 60, 70% of men, right? In terms of who you could be and the good guys. And especially if, you know, if cheating on somebody is not really your thing, if you're just a good guy, then you are way ahead of the curve. And unfortunately, a lot of people, especially a lot of women these days, can't even appreciate, they can't recognize it. They don't have a good guy because they can't even recognize a good guy. They want the bad boy and all this other kind of stuff. Then they wonder why, you know, the bad boy cheats or why the bad boy hurts them in some kind of way or whatever it is. And so, you know, just the fact that you are a good man, I'm not talking about, you know, a nice guy. I'm talking about a good man. Just because the fact that you are a good man means you're already ahead of the curve. So you got to understand there's value and there's worth just even in that. I mean, just intrinsic value and worth in that. And you already stand out. And a good woman would be lucky to have you. And a good woman would recognize the fact that you are a good man and would say, okay, maybe I'm tired of all the drama. I don't want this and that. And I'm ready to be in a relationship with a good man. And you don't want to be in a relationship with a woman that can't recognize a good man, especially the good man that you are. And how about a good break right now?
All right, fine.
What do you think?
We'll take a good break.
Boom.
We'll have a bad break after.
Nice. Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC. We'll be right back. Boom, bala. Dude, I'm telling you, man, a lot of women these days, they have the problems that they have. And if you're out there, maybe this triggers you or offends you. I don't care if you're a woman, but a lot of y'all don't have a good man because you can't recognize a good man when he shows up. Your blinders are on, and you want the guy that brings spice to your life, and you want the guy that makes things exciting and all this other kind of stuff. And yeah, whatever, man. If you want, you want a guy that makes things exciting, go marry a midget wrestler, right? I mean, I don't know where that came from, dude. It just did, man. It just did, dude. I mean, wow. But guess what, man? Good man is not all excitement every day, and it's not your entertainment, and it's not your drama and all this other kind of stuff. Because a good man is out here trying to do good things. And so if you're a woman out here, if you're single, if you keep having relationship issues, first of all, the common factor is in the mirror. And I would venture to say that most of y'all don't have a good man because you can't recognize a good man. And when you recognize a good man, you should turn that light on to that good man and say, hey, what's up?
Maybe we should do that for their air too.
Uh-oh.
Since that's such a good topic.
You think?
Yeah, let's might as well.
I'll let you pitch.
All right. We are back.
Yeah.
Mad Men of Masculinity.
Yeah.
KLDC. 12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City.
Yeah. Some of us are minus a pint of blood.
Yep.
How long does it take to remake the blood?
2-3 days.
Pint? For real? To make a pint of blood?
Well,
so if I donate blood today, I got 3 days before I.
No, you should feel better tomorrow, but I mean, it might.
But to remake the pint,
I think something like that. I didn't go to medical school, so
I went to public school.
I just play a doctor on TV.
Yeah,
or in the bedroom. Anyway,
easy.
What happened?
Easy.
So yeah, we were talking about guys raising their standards, maybe taking on some of the standards that we see a lot in the kind of womanist, feminist narrative of I am the table and I bring all this stuff to the table, whatnot. But what we have been noticing a lot is that ladies aren't really attracted to good men because a good man tends to be boring. A good man tends to be solid and he's not the roller coaster. But we keep seeing the ladies going after the roller coaster. They want the bad guy and then wondering why they keep having the same poor relationships and keep getting dumped and keep having the guys that cheat and whatnot. Like, ladies, you got to recognize a good man is not going to be as exciting as the bad boy. If
you're listening to us over the air, you should check us out on YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, Spotify, all the podcast platforms, especially on YouTube and all that, because the in between stuff is, man, that's some of the meat in the sandwich.
In between time.
And yeah, this is is triggering to some, and it is what it is. But ladies, a lot of y'all don't have a good man because you can't recognize a good man.
You're a bad picker.
When when a good man shows up, he's
boring.
All of a sudden, there's been a lot of good men who've been broken up with by women who have relationship issues, and they consistently have relationship problems because they break up with good men. And I off the top of my head, I can think of half a dozen good men who've had women walk away from them. And those same women can't keep a man because they keep picking jerks. They keep picking bad boys. They keep picking, whomever that is not a good man. And so, the reality is, and again, guys, we got to be willing to recognize that. We got to be willing to recognize that, if she ain't for you, maybe her picker is broken, and you should let her go pick the next bad boy that's going to make her cry in a matter of months. I mean, just let her go have it.
Yeah, ladies, if you just need excitement, I mean, we keep seeing over and over again. I mean, we had Jude Sandoval on, the divorced advocate, and he's got so many stories about ladies leaving a marriage because she was bored, because there wasn't any excitement. But I mean, once you get to a certain point, it's like, if you're not building something together, then it may be boring, But if you're building a family together and having kids together isn't exciting enough for you, maybe you need to have a reality check, because that's more important than all that bad boyness and all the excitement and all the emotional butterflies and things. Like, once you get past your 20s, you need to let go of the butterfly net and start having some reality checks and realizing, okay, the butterflies and the excitement and the drama, then you need to let that go. That was a teens and 20 thing. You need to grow up and realize that reality is about longevity and looking into the future and building something that lasts. And it's not all about excitement and butterflies and all this craziness. And, we just keep seeing it. And it makes me sad because there's a good relationship with a good man that they end because they're, well, granted, the benefits in their favor, but just because they're bored. And I mean, maybe once the kids leave and you guys have grown apart, maybe something you can come back together. But if it's a good relationship, then when that happens, now you have the opportunity to get to know each other again and to have a new relationship together. But people just don't have the patience. We keep saying slow down, but everybody's just pulling the trigger. Like, I'm bored, I'm out.
Dude, I had a woman tell me flat out that she broke up with a guy because he was boring.
Yep.
She broke up with a guy because he wasn't exciting in the bedroom. She broke up with a guy because,
Did she ask for what she wanted?
I'm just saying. I'm just like, you know what, man? I mean, like, really, that's what it's about. Like, that's what, you broke up with it. If you need excitement, go do paintball, go watch midget wrestling. Go, I don't know. Is that inappropriate to say? Is midget wrestling inappropriate?
Well, I mean,
they have midget wrestling. Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gone. It's fun.
You can get us canceled by get us canceled by the Little People Nation.
Little People need you got a union.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, don't judge me.
They got a lollipop guild. I know that much. I saw the movie.
But very funny. Dude, I was in the Wizard of Oz play when I was little.
What? Yeah,
when I was in second grade.
What'd
I
you
played Munchkin.
Munchkin. See,
I was in second grade, so we were
having flashbacks.
I even had a line in the play. Yeah, it was a line that was like, I sneezed and I said, "It's my sinuses." I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
But my point is, I digress. I digress back to the foolishness. If you're bored, go do something exciting on your own. Go base jumping. I don't know. I mean, without a backup parachute. I mean, I'm just saying, like, but in terms of relationships, good men are good because they're stable. And stability should have value in itself. Not because they cray-cray, not because of the truck they drive or the way they wear their hat or the way they wear their jeans or, whatever, all the cool this and the cool that. It's like, come on, man. I mean, like, really, is that what it's all about? So there's a lot of good men out here that have had relationships with women who quite honestly couldn't recognize that they were good men.
Yeah, I actually saw a post. I mean, talking about that post I did before, I actually saw a post where it said the best relationships are with a stable man and a dramatic woman. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I guess, I mean, if we talk about the natural feminine and masculine nature, I guess that's kind of a simplistic version. I mean, because men tend to be more stable and linear and logical, and women will be more emotional and more dramatic. But I mean, I guess that makes some sense. As a stable man, you're there to be the riverbanks and the flagpole for her, flowing water, her flag flapping in the breeze. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe ladies need to check themselves and go, maybe I do want a guy who's more stable and less exciting. Maybe that's what I really need. And I think that's the thing, is a lot of us don't go after what we really need because we don't really know what we need. We just go after what feels good and what's exciting. And especially in this, in the States and the Western culture, it's all about pleasure seeking and entertainment. And we have TikTok attention spans now, 30 seconds. And so we wonder why people keep bouncing from one thing to the other versus staying put and actually growing roots and making something strong and stable. We probably need to look at, like, who is this person across from us, and maybe take the time to look deeper, get past the surface. Because especially as guys, we're visual creatures. We get stuck on the looks, and we need to make sure, especially that's why you got to have boys around you that maybe aren't attracted to the same type of women, so they can go, I'm not looking at the surface. Let's look at the inner and see what she's got going on as far as heart and mind and soul versus just what she's got on with the them short skirts and stuff.
I think there's some truth to the stability instability kind of dynamic. I think if we are masculine men in relationship with feminine women, we got to recognize that femininity is chaos.
It comes with some instability.
No, like literally. I mean, femininity is chaos, and that is if a woman is honest, being a woman is chaotic. The emotions, the thoughts, the hormones, just the whatever. They have a hard time just narrowing down on stuff. I'm talking about feminine women. I'm not talking about women in general. I'm talking about feminine women are spacey a lot of times. And I know, I've spoken to a woman who used to be in a relationship with a woman and prefers, and it's like, yeah, that's I can't do that. Like, it's just too much. Both of them being, all over the place, and both of them being scribble scrabble doesn't work. Like, somebody's got to be the lines, and somebody's got to be the color in between the lines.
Yeah, when women can't handle women, then we're wrong.
And so, I think there's something to that. But so we got to know that dynamic, and as that. Again, back to the whole point, as men, we got to know the value that we bring. And if you're a masculine man, you got to understand that the part of the value that you bring to a feminine woman is some level of structure, some level of grounding, some level of foundation, the flagpole to the flag, all those kinds of analogies, all those kinds of things. And again, they need that. A feminine woman needs that, because she knows that, like, man, I'm just all over the place in my ups and my downs, and all feeling based and all those kinds of things. I need some logic in my life. And so we got to know, as a good man, that we bring that. And if somebody's not willing to buy in on that, then bye, Felicia.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of bye, Felicia, did you see this craziness about these girls going to the Barbie movie, and then if their boyfriend didn't like it, they're like,
dude,
breaking up with them?
Don't talk to me about that. Man, I kind of got beef with that Barbie movie has went over $1 billion.
Yeah.
Shame on you if you've gone to the Barbie movie and you haven't gone to see Sound of Freedom twice.
Oh.
If you haven't gone to see Sound of Freedom twice, shame on you for going to watch a Barbie movie, especially as a woman. I mean, especially as a woman. I mean, women are being victimized and trafficked and all these other kind of things. You got this out here, this film trying to solve that problem, and you out there spending your money sending Barbie over $1 billion. Come on, man.
But that doesn't feel good.
Hey, man,
the Barbie movie's all about
shame on you. I'm judging you, whoever you are. If you went to the Barbie movie, you haven't seen Sound of Freedom twice, shame on you. I might post that.
Getting a little judgy up in here.
I am, man. Like, seriously. Freaking Barbie over $1 billion. Yeah. You need to go see Sound of Freedom twice.
Well, I mean, it's just a perfect picture narrative of kind of how our Western culture is right now. It's all about the good feels. It's not about reality. It's not about realness. And gentlemen, you got to be focused on reality and realness, and find a woman who also has her head on straight and knows and accepts the fact that she needs a man to stabilize her feminine wiles and emotions and all those things. But what we keep seeing is, I'm going to be a feminine woman, and you better do everything I say. And then when we do that, they don't respect us because there's no structure. And we all know deep down, whether it's conscious or unconscious, what we really need. But when we don't get it, that's what makes us unhappy and feel like something's missing. We have to acknowledge and be real that we need each other. As a man, I need a woman who is feminine and chaotic and all those things, so I can be that stabilizing influence, so I can be that structure, because that's part of my purpose. That's part of that protecting and providing. But if the ladies don't want us to be that, then you got to make sure you got your standards in order, you got your value in place, and you know who's going to match with you, so you don't accept something less than.
And dude, it is sometimes frustrating as I don't know what.
A
feminine woman in the house, and like, it's beautiful, but it's beautiful in some torturous ways, man.
Beautiful chaos.
It is like there can be chaos and beauty. I mean, if you think of a symphony piece, there's notes and music and instruments going all over the place, but when it comes all together, there's beauty behind that. And so again, us as men, man, we got to be willing to know our value, know our worth. We got to be okay with walking away. And, we got to be okay with not even just walking away. We got to be okay with letting go. Yeah. I mean, because there's some things, sometimes the flagpole has got to let go of flags that aren't meant for that flagpole, because a flag that isn't meant for you will rip you out of your foundation. And so, so us as men, we got to be willing to let go of that thing. And especially if somebody's willing to walk away from you, or somebody's willing to peace out, man, you got to be willing to, next. Because I'm telling you, you're the commodity. Like there's way less of you than there are of them. And, if she'd rather be alone, or she'd rather go back to online dating, or going back to, watching Barbie movie with all of her, so be it. Then let her go. Let her do all that. There's somebody who will see you for you, and there's somebody who will appreciate who you are and what you have to offer them in their life.
Yeah. And gentlemen, you have to realize, especially with the way the world is going now, good men are a valuable commodity. If you are a good man, you are a valuable commodity, because we are not being seen for our value. We're not being seen for our worth. And a lot of ladies have bought into the feminist masculinized, I don't need no man narrative. And then as they grow and mature, they realize, oh, maybe I was wrong. But it's up to you guys to have the structure and to realize your value, so that you can find the one that's the best match for you. but you are a valuable commodity. And yeah, it's time not to take returns, gentlemen. It's time to say, hey, maybe if you had a disagreement, you guys can talk through it and use some communication. That's fine. But if she just bounces because she doesn't respect you and then she wants to come back because later on, all of a sudden you look like you're doing something better, no return policy, gentlemen. No return policy. And on that note, Mad Men out.